Okay guys, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do an example of one of the equations that you did in the assessment. Okay, so the first thing we've got to remember is that when we see that things are in brackets, they've got to be done first. Okay, so we do what's in brackets first. Once we've got the answers for those, we can continue with the rest of the equation. Okay, so let's tackle the first one. When we are multiplying fractions, remember the first thing we check is if we can cross cancel. In other words, if we can simplify these equations if there are denominators. Alright, so we can straight away see that there's a 3 and a 3, we can cross cancel those two. Okay, so that will become 1 over 4 times 2 over 1, okay, so that becomes that. And then when we look over here, what we do when we're adding and subtracting fractions, remember our denominators have got to be the same. Okay, so what I can do first of all is I can change this one. I can make that an improper fraction by saying 1 times 2 is 2 plus 1 is 3, so that'll become 3 over 2 plus 3 over 4. Okay, so that's what our new equation looks like. And then we can add in the rest of it so that we don't lose our bearings on what is going on. Okay, so these two, let's carry on doing these two. So now we say 1 times 2 is equal to 2, 4 times 1 is equal to 4. Okay, when I see 2 over 4, straight away what I can recognize by that is equal to a half. 2 over 4 is equal to a half. So I can change that 2 over 4 and I can say that that is a half by simplifying it straight away. Next one, 3 over 2 plus 3 over 4. Remember our denominators have got to be the same. So lowest common denominator over here, I can see that 2 goes into 4. So I know my lowest common denominator there is 4. Okay. So what did I do to the 2 to get to 4? I times it by 2. So whatever I do to the bottom, I've got to do to the top. So 3 times 2 is equal to 6. And that stays the same. Okay. Which is 3/4. So this is what our new equation looks like. Alright, so let's add the rest of it in, plus 1 and a half, and the square root of 16. Okay, so let's carry on working with our equation then. So straight away we know what is the square root. Remember, when you see the square root sign and there's no number there, you know that it is square root. Okay. If they wanted you to do cubed root, they would always put the 3 in there and you would know that that is cubed root. Okay, cube root, excuse me. Okay, so what is the square root of 16? In other words, what times what, or what multiplied by what, is equal to 16? Well, we know that 4 times 4 is equal to 16. Okay, so that is 4. Okay, then I can say plus a half minus, what is this going to be? 6 plus 3 is going to be 9 over 4. Okay, and then we can add in our 1 and a half. Okay, so that's what our new equation looks like. Alright, fairly straightforward now. We can say 4 plus a half is 4 and a half minus 9/4 plus 1 and a half. Okay, so when we plus or minus, our denominators have got to be the same. So lowest common denominator, let's change this into an improper fraction to make it easier to work with. 4 times 2 is 8. 8 plus 1, sorry, is 9 over 2 minus 9 over 4. Okay, plus 1 and a half. Alright, so what we can do as well is we can change this one here to an improper fraction. 1 times 2 is 2, 2 plus 1 is 3, so it'll be 3 over 2. Okay, 3 over 2. Now, looking at this, minusing and plussing, our denominators have got to be the same. So what is our lowest common denominator? Our lowest common denominator is 4. So to change this, what do we do to the 2 to get to the 4? We times it by 2, so we need to do that to the top. Okay, so 9 times 2 is going to be 18, and our denominator obviously is 4. Okay, what did we do to this 2 to get the 4? We times it by 2 as well. So we're going to say 3 times 2 is 6, and we're going to have our denominator of 4. Okay, so now we can work with this because our denominators are all the same. Pretty straightforward then, hey? 18 minus 9 is 9 over 4 plus 6 over 4. Okay, and we will get to 9 and 6 is 15 over 4, which is an improper fraction which we can convert into a mixed number, which will then be 4 into 15 goes 3 times, and it is 12. Okay, it'll be 4 times 3 is 12, so we've got 3 left over, so it'll be 3 over 4. 3 and 3/4. Okay, so that is how we get to our final answer. Remember, it's all about doing the stages correctly. We'll do what's in brackets first, get those answers, and also remember, although we didn't have to put it into principle here, is that your BODMAS. Okay, so when you plus minusing, you remember to do obviously you do your multiplication and your division first, and then your addition and subtraction. Alright,